Hey everybody, it's Dr. G. I hope y'all doing good. So today I wanted to come answer a question or more of a response to a comment that was made. It's actually from probably two people made this comment. So I wanted to go ahead and address this just so we can set the record straight. And here's the comment. Normally I don't make videos responding to every comment, and I feel this one actually deserves my response in form of a video. I believe these comments are actually coming from a couple of nurse practitioners. They're actually two specifically that made this comment about that I am actually bashing the nurse practitioners or nurse practitioner programs just because I'm a physician now. And guys, make no mistake about that. I am by no means bashing nurse practitioner or bashing nurse practitioner programs, okay? Like, I would never do that. But one thing I will tell you though is I'm not going to hesitate to speak on the issues concerning nurse practitioner education, the training, the way it affects nurse practitioner, the way it affects healthcare providers out there that are working as nurse practitioner. And I say this from a first-hand experience, guys. First-hand experience. I lived that life as well, okay? I was also a nurse practitioner that went through this process, these same struggles that I speak on. If you guys look way back, like a few months ago, I made a video talking about the problems with nurse practitioner programs and how it was important for us to kind of reach out to these accreditation bodies, you know, whoever is in charge of certifying these programs and saying, you know what, they're good to go, they're okay as far as providing nurse practitioner training. So I spoke about those things in previous videos. A few organizations did reach out to me to talk about these things as well, which I did. And let me tell you guys, my thing is, if you are not speaking about these things, if you are not letting your voices be heard about your dissatisfaction about nurse practitioner training, well, guess what? Nothing is going to change. If you're basically complacent about it, ambivalent, oh, well, you know, I've gone through the process, I got a good enough training, I'm good to go, and things like that. If we decide not to speak on these things, for me, it was more of expressing my frustration regarding NP training from my personal experience. And guys, let me tell you, if you do not agree that nurse practitioner training, education-wise, is fragmented, it needs like a complete overhaul. If you do not agree with that, that's okay. Well, guess what? This is the part where I say we can agree to disagree. But I am of the opinion that a whole lot needs to go into fixing nurse practitioner education and turning things around to make it better. To speak about my own experience, I went to a reputable school. I went to a great university for a nurse practitioner program, the University of Cincinnati. Shout out to you, Bearcat. I'm not undermining the education that I got there, but this is the part where it affected me. And I'm telling you guys, when I was in Cincinnati, great education, the didactic portion of the training was great. But when it came to the clinical portion of it, well, guess what? A school as reputable as that still required me to go out there and look for preceptors. Okay, like we all know, if you're not incentivizing the training of nurse practitioners, that preceptor is not obligated to be fully vested in training you clinically. These programs are not providing the clinical sites for the nurse practitioners. Well, you know what happens? Most people literally just go out there and just try to figure out whoever is willing to accept you, right? It doesn't matter what clinical setting it is. It might not be the most ideal situation. It might not be the most ideal clinical environment, but because you have the desperation to graduate, you basically just go, you know, settle for whatever as far as your training. These preceptors already know they're not obligated to teach you or whatnot. So it's more of, yeah, be there my own schedule. And, you know, whatever you get, what you see is what you get kind of situation, because your school is not paying me for this. Your school is not, I am not contracted by your school to actually provide this kind of training to you. So what kind of training do we get out of that? Okay, training, whatever training. I mean, some people are fortunate enough to get a decent level of clinical training, I guess. But in my case, I got to a point, I remember one rotation, I struggled with finding a preceptor. I could not find a preceptor. It was almost like around graduation time, and the faculty for that class will always like email me saying, oh, you're going to miss out on graduation. You're probably not going to graduate with your cohorts because you have not done the clinical portion of things. But it's like, I'm stuck finding a preceptor. I eventually got lucky. I actually found one, and last minute he canceled on me, and another one, the same thing. And somehow magically I found one, and even the clinical training at that point wasn't the best anyway. So you graduate, you go out to the workforce, and then you're working. But of course, okay, I was trained. Yes, I went to school and I went to a great school. I graduated, all of that stuff. But it's like, when you really think about your clinical training, how strong is that though? Like, tell yourself the truth. How strong was that clinical training? I know there are a lot of NPs out there that are dealing with these things, and some refuse to speak about these things. I have a whole lot that have reached out to me saying they actually prefer not to speak publicly about these things, just because other nurse practitioners will look at them as AKA sellout, right? Like you're selling out your program or whatnot. But I am of the opinion that if we don't speak about these things, nothing will change. Things will remain as they are. But listen, if you feel that things need to stay as they are, you're just comfortable the way things are, let's just keep going with the status quo. Hey, I say you do you. But from where I stand, I am speaking about my experiences. And again, my experiences are my experiences. My opinions are my opinions, right? I am entitled to it because I have gone through these experiences. But if you feel that we just need to leave things as they are, don't change anything, listen, we don't want to rock the boat, it's been working out fine the way it is, well, unfortunately, I beg to differ. I really think things need to change when it comes to nurse practitioner education. For those folks, for these couple of folks that made these comments, and I assume you're nurse practitioners, and I apologize. I'm sorry that y'all feel that I'm bashing nurse practitioners because I'm a physician now, but I'm sorry because I'm just here speaking on my experiences. And last time I checked, we are all entitled to our experiences and our opinions, and it's always okay to speak about it, especially if you feel like this can affect some sort of a change at some point. So that's my response to that comment. I'm not going to let this video go too long, but I figured I'd just step in, just kind of address that real quick. Even though those that made those comments, I responded to y'all. But I also feel like if there were like a couple of folks that came forward like saying these things, there are probably, a whole bunch of others that are thinking that as well. But just, again, like I said, I will reiterate, I am just speaking on my experiences, and I also feel like there's a whole lot that needs to change when it comes to nurse practitioner education. But on that note, guys, I'm going to end it right here. If you guys have any comments, any questions, you don't agree, again, hey, we can agree to disagree, right? But feel free, email me your questions, your comments or whatnot, and I'll be glad. I am always available to have further discussion regarding this with anyone at any time. So feel free to reach out to me at any point in time. Until next time, guys, I'm going to sign off right now. Y'all take care. It's Dr. G. Bye.